but you have this triangular shaped object moving across the sky. Really, this is a very, very bizarre object. You see a flash and you see a ball of light in the center of the craft. So you're gonna see it flash and then it zips across the sky. Boom. I think these sightings are some type of secret military tech. So there are many common UFO, UAP shapes out there that people see in the sky. In a previous episode, we covered sphere and orb-shaped UFOs. In this episode, we're going to look at triangle-shaped UFOs, which is a very common shape of UFOs, UAPs that people see out there. Starting with this first clip coming to us from ex-user Gandalf El Pulpo, we have a triangle-shaped UAP caught on camera. So let's check this clip out. So it's daytime, but you have this triangular shaped object moving across the sky. You see that it's a distinctly triangular shape, and you see that it has 3 lights on each tip of the triangle. And in the center is a blinking red light. Now it appears to be moving in a straight line. Doesn't appear to be making any noises. There's no visible means of propulsion, and they're just watching it as it moves across the sky. You can see it going behind the tree there. Now, here's the thing about this particular sighting caught on camera. And you're going to notice a theme here. A lot of these triangular shaped objects seem to have a light at each corner of the triangle, and a lot of them also have a light in the center. The way that this one is moving seems very conventional to me. It's just moving constant pace in a straight line. I feel like this is some type of military equipment or some type of drone, a triangular shaped drone. Now, I do believe that this couple did catch a craft on camera, a vehicle on camera moving across the sky. I do feel like there's some authenticity to that. Just it doesn't look like a fake video to me, and their reaction on camera doesn't seem to be fake to me. So I believe this to be a real video, but I don't know that this is some type of alien craft. I think that this is probably just some type of drone, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Now, fortunately, there are no comments on this one to dig into to see what people think, but I want to hear from you in the comments. What do you think about this particular sighting? Do you think that it is some type of alien craft from another world, or do you think it's simply military technology like a drone? Let me know in the comments down below. I will say, though, it is very unusual to see a triangular shaped craft moving across the sky, whether it's ours or elsewhere. All right, now this next clip is a wild one. It is a triangle UFO sighting over Prague in the Czech Republic, and this was filmed on February 19th, 2022. Before we get to this clip, though, be sure and hit the subscribe and the like button. If you enjoy this type of content, it really helps out in the YouTube algorithm, and it's a great way to support Unexplained Chronicles. This video comes to us from UFO Last Minute. So it starts off with a man driving down the road, and unfortunately the quality of this particular video is very low. It's very grainy. He's driving down the road, and I believe that he is chasing this object, trying to capture it on camera as it moves through the sky. So you see him zooming in on it. It does appear to be some type of triangular shaped object with very weird lighting and very, very bizarre looking object. So he's kind of viewing it on his camera as it moves through the sky. It's really hard to make out what it is, and it has some unusual lights. So now he's kind of showing, I guess, his GPS on his phone, and he's continuing to chase the object. Now he's in the woods on foot, and you see the object in the sky beyond the trees, very faintly there. Again, this one looks like it was shot on a potato. Now here is where things get really weird. He gets a very good look of the triangular object, and you see that it has a lot of weird lights all over it. Just really bizarre lights all over it of different colors. You see green, you see red. Now you see it really good here. So you see a lot of lights in the middle that look very unnatural. Now it could be the way that the camera, now he's zooming in real close to it now, and now it's green, and he's continuing to zoom in on it. Again, there's no like pattern to the lights. They're just really, this is a very, very bizarre object. Now this would be an object that I would describe as looking alien. It just doesn't look natural, and the lights don't look natural. Could you imagine seeing something like this in the sky? I know I couldn't. It would be absolutely wild. The colors seem to go from white to green to red for some reason, which is also very bizarre. And they also seem to be, the lights seem to be pulsating. There seem to be like light strips around the bottom of this craft. And now he's zoomed back out and it's blue, and then it just kind of repeats the video there. This one is really, really weird. I don't know how I feel about this one. This one does seem to be authentic, but I don't know what he's using to film it, but he seems to be filming it in standard definition, which is really weird if this is from 2022, because high definition cameras were readily available and he clearly had a smartphone. And then whenever he zooms in on it, that's when things get really weird, right? I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what I'm looking at. This does not appear to be any type of conventional craft that we know of, right? It's definitely bizarre. It's definitely something that I would call alien in that it's weird and it's unnatural. Now let's see what people are saying in the comments for this Prague, Czech Republic triangular UFO. So this user says, anything like this filmed behind glass can just be a light reflection. I don't feel like this one was a light reflection. This person thinks that it's a patrol helicopter flying at night. Lanterns are installed on its body asymmetrically due to the sloppiness or due to breakage or due to some other reason. The views from the bottom side. I don't think this was a patrol helicopter. So it looks like a lot of people think that this is fake. The video is genuine. The guy followed it from his car as far as he could, then walked through a forest. It's also on James Masson's Bizarre UFO compilation from 2022. I don't know, there's a lot of uncertainty about this particular clip in the comments, but regardless, it's bizarre. So I don't know what to think about it. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you think about this triangular UFO sighting? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, the third clip we're going to look at today comes to us from YouTuber David Thompson, and it's a black manta flying triangle UFO. And this one is one of the weirdest ones that we're going to talk about in today's video. So let's roll the clip. So you see what appears to be a night vision camera, right? And you see this triangular object with 3 lights at each corner of the triangle and then 1 light in the center. It appears to be moving in a straight line, and you see a few other smaller lights as he zooms in and out and tries to keep it in focus. Now eventually you're going to see what looks like 2 protrusions on the top of this craft. Now it's starting to rotate. Seems like it has kind of stopped in place and it's starting to rotate, and he's zooming in on it. You see the 2 protrusions at the top. It's kind of rotating there. And then something really weird happens. You see a flash and you see a ball of light in the center of the craft. He's zooming out, trying to keep it in focus. And then the ball of light expands to envelop the craft, and then flash, and it's gone. If this footage is real, which I'm not saying that it is, but if this footage is real, then this is the craziest UFO footage I've ever seen. And then when the craft, of course, starts rotating and you see the light appear in the center of it, that's when it gets really weird. It's almost like it's engaging some type of warp drive or something. You know what I mean? Like the light, and then it envelops the craft entirely, and then it just flashes and disappears. There it goes again, enveloping the craft again, and then a large flash, and it's gone. And by the way, this is from 2012. This video is from 2012. So let's see what people in the comments are saying. This user says, I observed with friends similar in 1989 over the city of Sarov in the daytime at an altitude of about 1 kilometer. It was not a 100% plane because it flew slowly. The black triangle hanging in the sky soon disappeared behind the clouds. Interesting. This individual says they saw a black triangle UFO in 1993. This individual says, whether the video is fake or not, I've seen this exact craft. Whole family saw it too. But when we remembered seeing it, it felt like the event occurred some months ago. Felt like a distant memory or dream. Interesting. Now this person says this is an artist's rendition of a genuine clip. I don't know if that's true or not. It could be. So there's a lot of anecdotal comments of people saying that they've seen something very similar to this object in this video. If this is real, I feel like that this is something of ours, some type of advanced military craft that we've created. But I want to know what you think in the comments. It's a pretty wild clip. There's no doubt about that. But let me know, what do you think about it? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? And why? Throw that in the comments. This next clip comes to us from Rumble Viral. Triangular UFO appears in the sky over Amsterdam. Let's check out the description real quick before we play the clip. And by the way, this was in January 2019. This triangle-shaped object was sighted near Amsterdam in the Netherlands. The filmmaker discovered it to the east outside the village. Since it was windy, he first thought it was a kite. But it looked larger on the sky, and it looked like it was made of some sort of metal. Also, a string was not seen. The object did absolutely not move like a kite, as afterward the object suddenly flew away lightning fast. The filmmaker was scared. All right, let's check this clip out, shall we? So you see what appears to be a glowing white triangle floating through the sky behind the clouds. It almost looks like the Triforce from the Legend of Zelda series. Honestly, it really does. You see what looks like a little triangle in the center of it, but it's floating through the sky, moving at what appears to be variable speeds and somewhat rotating here and there. He's filming it, trying to keep it in frame. I don't know if it's making any sound or not. It doesn't seem like it is. You kind of see it amongst the clouds. And again, it just looks like a white, like a glowing white triangle, almost like the whole thing is one light. And it does appear to have something in the center of it, which kind of reminded me of the Triforce, but I don't know what that is. So the center of it doesn't appear to be as white and glowing as the rest of the object. So he's continuing to film it as it moves across the sky. There was a flash. The object appears to be moving quite a bit faster now. It doesn't look like it's moving in a straight line either. He's continuing to try to keep it in frame, zooming in and out. Every now and then you see a flash, almost like the sun is glinting off of the object, which is interesting. Now it's kind of behind the clouds. You see some more flashes. This is a weird one. I'm not gonna lie. This is a really weird one. Whoa. Oh, that was crazy, dude. Holy crap. Okay, so the end of that clip was crazy. You see the object flash and then it just zips across the sky lightning fast, and you even hear the guy filming. He's like, "Oh!" Like, oh man, let's look at that again. That was wild. Let's replay that part of the clip. So you're gonna see a flash and then it zips across the sky. Boom. Look at that. Flash and then it zips. Oh man, that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty cool. This one is very, very intriguing to me. I'm not seeing any red flags that suggests to me that this is a fake video, especially with it coming from 2019. And then his reaction at the end, whenever it flashes and zips across the screen, like lightning fast, almost from a dead stop, which is something you hear a lot about these types of objects, especially in some of the declassified stuff and the military whistleblowers. You hear that these objects can accelerate instantaneously to just insane speeds. But let's see what people are saying in the comments. This individual says, "I think this is 100% genuine. It is mind-blowing." Oh, looks like I'm not the only one that thought it was the Triforce. This person says, "Looks like the Zelda Triforce emblem." This person says, "Incredible. The reaction really sells it. Damn good vid." This individual says they saw the exact same thing in San Diego County and it was only about 300 feet away. This individual says, "At last, a real undoctored, non-fake UFO with no stupid X-Files music or overexcited voiceover. This is what real videos look like." He's not wrong. That's actually a good point. It does seem to have an air of authenticity to it in that the person that's filming it is silent and he's just trying to keep this object in his camera frame, and he doesn't utter a word until it flashes and zips across the screen, and then that's when his excitement comes out. All right, I want to see it zip across the screen one more time, because that is just insane. I want to see that one more time. Boom, flash, and then it's gone. I love the slow-mo, because in the slow-mo you can see the streak of light as it zips across the screen. That's a pretty freaking wild clip. That is a wild clip. There's nothing about this clip that makes me think that it's not authentic. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this clip is authentic? And have you ever seen anything like this? Throw that in the comments as well. And let's move on to the final clip for today's episode of Unexplained Chronicles. All right, the final clip comes to us from X user Anonymous Shadow. and it is a triangle craft recorded in New York. It says it's a triangular craft captured in Oneida County, New York on October 5th, 2020, and the source is Gandalf El Pulpo, who was the source for the first clip that we watched in today's episode, actually. Without further ado, let's look at this triangle craft in New York. So, nighttime, you see a triangular craft in the sky with 3 red lights, again, a light on each corner of the craft, and you also see what appears to be a light in the center pulsating. They zoom in on it and you see a pulsating blue ring of a light just kind of pulsating there on screen. And then the camera turned off, then they're back at it, trying to keep this object in frame, and you're starting to see a real common thread here with a lot of these triangular UAPs in that there's a light on each corner of the object and some sort of light in the center. So you see the pulsating light in the center as they try to keep it in frame. Now you can tell that they're zoomed way in on it because they're having a really hard time keeping it in frame. And then one of the lights on the corner starts to flare up. Now I don't know if this was like a camera trick or what, but one of the lights on the corner seems to be more red than the others. So yeah, this one is weird. The really weird part about this one is when they zoom in. Let's actually pause on that. So you see what appears to be a blue light in the center that pulsates, and it looks like a ring, like a blue ring light. And you also see what appear to be some smaller lights on one of the edges. And one of the craft in a previous clip on today's episode had similar lights to that as well. So this one is weird. Very, very, very weird. Unfortunately, we don't really have any comments on this one to see what people are saying. Again, I'm not really seeing anything about this clip that is a red flag. At least to me, appears to be authentic. Now, I'm not saying that it's a alien craft. I honestly think that these sightings, with the 3 lights on the corners and a light in the middle, I think these sightings are some type of secret military tech that's being tested. That's what I think. Who really knows? Honestly, who really knows? But I want to know what you think in the comments down below about this one. And I also want to know if you've seen any triangular UAPs, UFOs, and if you have, tell us about it in the comments down below. All right, folks, that is it for today's episode of Unexplained Chronicles, looking at 5 triangular UAPs caught on camera. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the clips, if you thought they were real, if you thought they were fake. And again, if you have any of your own experiences to share, throw those in the comments. And if there are any video clips that you want me to cover in a future episode, you can email me those at unexplainedchroniclesyt@gmail.com or throw them in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode of Unexplained Chronicles.